A killer whale was just caught on camera off the coast of South Africa doing the unthinkable, hunting and killing a great white shark. For scientists, this wasn't just another orca sighting. It was a signal, a flash of something far deeper. Because if orcas are capable of this kind of precision and power, what else have we misunderstood about them? For decades, orcas were considered a single species, or Canis orca. Same body, same pattern, same myth. From the Arctic ice to tropical coral reefs, they were seen as one animal. One name, one predator, one global identity. They were treated as a marvel of adaptability. A single species that could thrive in virtually any marine environment. This idea was cemented into textbooks, documentaries, and conservation policy. The killer whale was the ultimate generalist, a sleek, intelligent hunter capable of anything, anywhere. But we were wrong, because a second species was hiding in plain sight. And its story is more alien, more intelligent, and more terrifying than we ever imagined. Along the Pacific coast, from Alaska to California, scientists began to notice strange inconsistencies. Some orcas were loud and social, singing through the sea. Others were silent and stealthy, stalking like shadows. Some ate only fish. Others hunted mammals, seals, sea lions, even other whales. These differences weren't subtle. They were striking and persistent. And most intriguingly, despite centuries of overlapping territory, no interbreeding had ever occurred. Think about that. Two populations swimming the same waters for hundreds or even thousands of years, yet never once producing a hybrid calf. By 2024, after decades of observation, acoustic studies, and cutting-edge DNA testing, the evidence was overwhelming. The orcas we call transients aren't just a regional variation. They are likely an entirely separate species. Their DNA diverged around 300,000 years ago, long before Homo sapiens even walked the earth. Back then, our ancestors were still crafting stone tools, and the continents were largely in their present form. Yet these whales, sharing the same ocean, were already evolving apart. That's not a quirk. That's evolutionary independence, and it changes everything. To the untrained eye, transients and residents look identical. Same black and white bodies, same torpedo-shaped form, but their lives couldn't be more different. Resident orcas are vocal. They use echolocation to find their prey, primarily salmon. They communicate constantly with whistles, clicks, and pulsed calls. They travel in large, tight-knit family pods led by older females, matriarchs who carry decades of migratory and hunting wisdom. They are community builders, acoustic engineers of the sea. Transients, by contrast, are stealth predators. They hunt marine mammals, creatures with keen hearing and sharp instincts. To survive, they move in silence. No sonar, no clicks, no calls. They drift just beneath the surface, like ghosts, waiting for the right moment to strike. Their attacks are swift, precise, and brutal. Their teeth are blunter and more worn from crushing bone. Their jaws are bulkier and more muscular. Their bodies are longer, heavier, built for impact and stealth. They are engineered not for chasing slippery fish, but for grappling thick skin, cartilage, and resistance. They are the special forces of the sea, designed for high-risk, high-reward hunts. And when they hunt, it's not chaos, it's choreography. Decoys lure seals away from safety. Others flank from below. The final strike comes from the blind spot. It's violent but calculated, intelligent, coordinated. They operate in small groups, often just a mother and her offspring. These pods are tight, agile, and incredibly efficient. And here's the astonishing part. These techniques aren't hardwired from birth. They're learned. Young transients don't just inherit instincts, they receive an education. They spend years beside their mothers, watching every move, every decision. When to strike, when to wait, how to deceive, how to kill. This is culture, not instinct. And it's passed down generation after generation. Residents teach too, but their lessons are different. They teach language, sonar dialects unique to their pod, seasonal migration paths to follow salmon runs, the social bonds that hold their large families together. These behaviors aren't random, they're systematic. And over time, they've become more than culture. They've become biology. Because these traditions don't just shape minds, they shape bodies. Tooth wear, jaw structure, lung capacity, muscle mass, even neurological wiring. The way a resident echolocates is different from how a transient listens. Their brains are tuned to different frequencies, different social needs, different hunting goals. This is evolutionary divergence driven not by geography, but by behavior. And that's what makes this discovery so radical, because it means that behavior, passed down through learning, can become a force in evolution, a driver of biological change. It challenges one of the most basic assumptions in biology, that genes alone determine species. That culture is superficial, secondary. The orcas prove otherwise. Culture can be a blueprint too, so why did it take us so long to see it? Because for centuries we classified species by morphology, what they looked like. And by that standard, orcas are almost indistinguishable. But behavior, memory, and communication? They leave no fossils. They don't show up in museum drawers, so we ignored them, or misunderstood them. When transients didn't vocalize, we said they were shy. When they hunted differently, we called it a regional quirk. When their teeth wore down, we assumed it was dietary coincidence. We had all the evidence, but we lacked the lens to interpret it. And while science debated names, something more urgent was happening in the wild. Transients, those stealthy mammal hunters, are thriving. Their populations have more than doubled since the 1990s, from roughly 120 individuals to well over 280 in the North Pacific. Their prey, seals, porpoises, sea lions, have rebounded due to conservation efforts. The environment is on their side. Their cultural model works. But the southern resident orcas, they're in crisis. This group, centered around Washington State and British Columbia, relies almost entirely on Chinook salmon, a species in rapid decline due to overfishing, habitat destruction, and warming oceans. Despite other available food, resident orcas won't switch prey, not because they can't, but because they won't. Their culture is rigid. They are bound to a tradition that no longer serves them, and the losses run deeper than diet. When matriarchs die, the pod loses its compass. The younger orcas don't just grieve, they get lost. Without elders, they forget where to go, how to find food, how to communicate. It's not just a biological loss, it's a collapse of memory. And this is where our misunderstanding becomes deadly. Because conservation policies have long treated all orcas the same. Same species, same protections, same strategies. But they are not the same. They are different predators, different societies, different cultures. And if we don't recognize that, if we continue to lump them together, we risk saving one while losing the other. And this leads to a bigger question. If culture can divide a species, what does that mean for how we define species at all? Right now, most classification systems rely on physical traits and reproductive isolation. But the orcas challenge that. They show that cultural divergence, learning, memory, behavior, can drive speciation without a single visible change in form. This forces us to reconsider what makes a species distinct. Is it just DNA? Or is it language? Tradition? Memory? Because if two orcas live in the same ocean, swim the same waters, but won't communicate, won't breed, and live by completely different rules, aren't they already something else? And if we accept that, then science must evolve too. Our models, our policies, our protection laws, they all depend on how we define life. If we get that wrong, everything downstream collapses. Species classification isn't just academic. It's what determines what gets protected, what gets ignored, and what disappears in silence. If transients are officially recognized as a new species, and many scientists believe they should be, it would change how we manage orca populations globally. No longer one size fits all, but targeted strategies for distinct ways of life. And it doesn't end with orcas. Because if this level of cultural evolution can occur in killer whales, what about other species? Elephants have burial rituals. Crows teach tool use. Parrots have dialects. Wolves pass down hunting strategies. Could there be hidden species among them too, divided not by oceans or mountains but by culture? The orcas didn't just give us a new species. They gave us a new way to see the natural world. Because the truth is, some of the greatest discoveries don't lie in unexplored jungles or deep-sea trenches. They lie in the places we thought we understood best. We didn't discover a new species of killer whale because it was hiding. We discovered it because we finally looked closely enough. The orcas didn't change. We did. And in that shift, everything else follows. So what do you think? Are there more species hiding behind familiar faces, waiting for us to recognize them for what they truly are? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories that dig beneath the surface, subscribe to Unlayered Docs and hit the bell icon. Because this isn't just the end of the orca story. It's the beginning of 1,000 more questions.